In this video, I'll use the filter gallery to soften a 3D rendering, giving it an illustrative or sketchy look. Open the library rendering.psd file, and note that its library layer is a raster layer rather than a 3D layer. You can use this technique on a 3D layer if you first right-click on it and choose Rasterize 3D, and thus convert it to a pixel layer. I could apply the filter gallery directly to this layer, but I caution you against doing that. It's better to first convert the layer for smart filters. You can see down here that now we have an icon on this thumbnail which identifies it as a smart object. This is a container that the library layer is now inside of, and when we apply the filter gallery to it, we will have editability into the future, and we'll also gain some blending options which we wouldn't otherwise have. So after you convert it into a smart object or smart filter, as it's known interchangeably, you can then apply the filter gallery. This opens up a dialog box interface, and I need to zoom out so I can see more of the image. And over here we have lots of different filters which are organized in these categories. Each filter has a separate set of parameters that you can adjust by dragging these sliders, or in some cases by selecting items from a list. So there are really many different possibilities here that you can explore, and you can find some type of aesthetic look that appeals to you. Click down here on New Effect Layer, and this creates a duplicate of the current effect. You can then select a different filter in the gallery and adjust its parameters. And so the result is actually a combination of these two effect layers. And the result is applied from the bottom up. So in this case, rough pastels comes first, and then accented edges comes second. You can drag this effect down and reorder that. And in some cases, you'll get a very different look. In this case, it's the same. But let's add another effect layer. And let's try diffuse glow. If I drag this down, we get a slightly different look depending on where that is. And I can also change that. Now that's looking pretty awful in this case. So I'm going to throw that away by clicking the trash can. So really this is a matter of experimentation, just going through here and trying out different filters to see if you can find a combination that appeals to your aesthetic sense. Click OK, and then you'll see that now we have Filter Gallery appearing here, nested within the Smart Object thumbnail. This allows us to double-click on the Word Filter Gallery, and it takes us right back here into this interface where we can make some additional decisions. Let's say I'm going to use watercolor instead, and I'm going to make some adjustments here. And click OK. Then down here, there's an icon in the corner which has blending options. Double-click on that, and it opens up this separate dialog box where you have a chance to select a blending mode just for the smart filters. So I can choose soft light and see how that looks. Or perhaps I'll use overlay. So really, this process is one of experimentation. There's no right way to do it. It's really up to you to go through, try a different combination of filters until you find something that appeals to you. And when you do, you can always tone it down by changing the blend mode or by changing the opacity. This controls the strength of the filters that you've applied. And you can toggle the filter gallery off and on to see what that is doing for you. So this is another tool in your toolkit to help you soften 3D renderings and give them more of an illustrative or sketchy quality.